Hey, what's up? I'm here in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, and I wanted to share a question from one of my peeps in my mastermind group, in the Powerfully Aligned Mastermind group, and it's very pertinent to people who are struggling with stress and challenges in family dynamics. Hey, what's up, Masty? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Alice, what's up? What's up? Family dynamics are huge this time of year, and somebody in my mastermind group had a question, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've had so many calls, client calls recently about this very topic. So I really wanted to really touch on this because when what I discovered is that your family dynamics and this lack of feeling support actually impacts your health. It impacts your hormones. It impacts your brain. It impacts your digestion. So if you're not, hey, Elena, what's up, you bala? Elena is one of my bala friends. It's super duper important for us to really get and understand this whole concept of support in family dynamics. What's up, Wendy? The question that I had was from a gal in my mastermind group who is feeling like she's stuck in her, in this desire. She's made huge progress. Thanks for the loves and the likes. Please share this with somebody right now. If you can push share with somebody or people, or tag somebody that you know who's having challenges in their family dynamics and feeling lack of support. And this gal, this client of mine is really struggling because on this road to becoming or clearing her depression and stress and anxiety, it's really about connecting to your authentic self. But what if your authentic self, who you're being, the people in your family have different set of values? For example, like I'm going to throw an example, is that I have this person who might be a little bit psychic, okay, and so she talks about her psychic guides, and the people in her family dynamic don't support her. She goes, I feel unsupported, unsupported. And so in her post, she was consistently saying, what if, your authentic self, when I share who I am and who I'm being, and I talk about, the things that I'm into, the people in your family, my family, are not supporting me. So I just want you to, let me know or comment if this is ever something that you deal with, if you ever feel that you're not getting that support. Now, what do? Well, what happens is everyone in our family dynamic has a set of values, and it's quite normal that two people, take a look at your family. Just take a look. Check this out. Look at your brothers and sisters, the people within your family, and just notice how opposite things are of what the values are within your family. In other words, what's very meaningful to your sibling is completely opposite to what's meaningful to you. I look at my brother. My brother is big time into politics. He gets all fired up about politics. I couldn't care less about politics and Donald Trump or whatever. But it's a great and he looks at what I do about stress and when I talk about feelings and emotions and all that, and he just rolls his eyes. He can't believe it. And there's an order to the fact that everybody within your family has a completely, yeah, exactly, Elena. There's 14 of you and you're completely different. Now take a look. Those of you who have families and you have 3 kids or 2 kids, okay? Check it out. Have you noticed that if you have 2 children, how completely opposite your kids are? I hear it all the time. I have 2 kids or 3 kids. One of the kids is completely on one end of the spectrum, is the artsy, and the other one's all into maths and sciences. Have you noticed that? Well, there's an order to this in family dynamics, in that within a family dynamic, what's meaningful to one, there's a balance. Looking from an overview perspective, there's a balance in the values and priorities of people within families. So this whole concept of support goes out the window when you realize that people only are programmed to support the things that are according to their values. Let me really get this to you. I hope this lands. We only support the things that are in alignment with our values. So if my parents, okay, and I lived with this delusion all the time. I've been a chiropractor for 15 years. I still am. I'm doing it part-time, working at locums, but I really love coaching, being a mental optimization coach, helping professionals with anxiety and depression transform and have their best year ever. I love doing that. And when I started seeing victims in my office, and I knew that I wanted to get deeper in levels of healing, I told my family, and my parents were all about me staying as a doctor. You're not qualified, you're not a psychologist, right? And so I perceived them as being a lack of support. And so for years I've been telling the story that my father doesn't support me. Whoa, poor me. I want my family, that everything that I say, that they love and they support me exactly the way I want. And yes, support comes in many forms. We're all meaning makers. Change the meaning and the stressor changes. Absolutely, Alice. That's exactly what I had to do. I had to actually sit there and think to myself, okay, what is most important to my father? In my parents' perception, me being successful, making an impact, and not wasting my education in their perspective is a very important thing. So when I come to them and I say, listen, Dad, I want to sell my practice and I want to travel the world and I want to teach and I want to speak and I want to coach. If that goes against his values, then he shouldn't be supporting me. The delusion is not that that the delusion isn't that I should be, the delusion actually is that I should be supported by everyone, by family. Well, here's the thing. Family have their own priorities and values. Exactly. We can't grow until we have friction. Exactly. So, Daniela, the question that I have for any one of you who are lamenting over the fact that family members aren't supporting you, get over it. Get over it and realize that you and anybody else, that you're not programmed to support the things that you perceive are against your values. Look at it as an opportunity. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be the role of my mother or father, and I want to come up to you and I'm going to say, listen, Mom, Dad, I'm going to tell you what my new plans are in my life, and I want you to say no to me, that you're not supporting me, that I'm making a huge mistake. Okay, Mom, Dad, I want to quit my job. I want to sell everything that I own, and I want to go live on a beach, and I want to sell pot to tourists. What do you think of that? Now, let's hear you tell me that you're completely against it and you're not supporting me. So you're not supporting me. And then I go, okay, I completely understand why you would feel that way. But here's the thing. You have to look at every single lack of support as an opportunity for you to check in and see, am I really being authentic with me? If it's in alignment with who you're truly being and you're actually dedicated to the mission of why you're doing it, then it's not really about getting support from family members. Consider that if you're lamenting over the fact that people aren't in your family dynamic, aren't supporting your decisions of what you want to do in your career, who you're being, that it's check-in time, it's gut check time to see how bad do you want it. Because anybody who's ever achieved anything, has expanded, has had to do it through negation, criticism, challenge, massive rejection, and it's our addiction to support that's going to screw us over. And so if this is something that's happening to you, if you're going through this and this is creating friction in your life and you're feeling like it's stopping you and it's paralyzing you, the impact of that belief that everyone should be supporting you is going to screw you over. You start to feel disconnected from people. You start to want to hide, and your family dynamics become inauthentic, and you pretend that, everything is okay, and that creates stress. And then that starts altering your digestive levels. It starts altering the way that you feel and the way that you occur to yourself. You start to feel really shitty about your life. And then all of a sudden you start to get depressed, and then it impacts you because you feel fear in stepping forward. So many people who truly, 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 hey, what's up, Elizabeth? Anybody who truly, truly, truly wants to make something out of their lives has to step through the friction of family members negating them. I've had to do it. When I wanted to become a chiropractor, I was challenged by that. When I wanted to travel and speak, I was challenged every step of the way. But what it did was it forced me to gut check. And we live in a delusion where everyone should support. We should be supportive, supportive, supportive. Well, guess what? The world doesn't work that way. The millennials are classic examples of a population that were brought up with the delusion that we should be supported all the time. Then when they go out in the real world and they're challenged, they think, oh my God, I can't handle it. And I know a lot of millennials who are struggling right now, people born after 1984, where they're just unfulfilled because of this delusion that they should be supported all the time. Well, you know, Graham, what's up? You're not a millennial. We went to high school together. It's really important. This is the greatest delusion that we have that creates stress and friction, is the delusion that I should be supported. It's simply not true. You shouldn't be supported. If what you're saying to me doesn't support my values, which are unique, well, guess what? I'm not supposed to support you. But is that going to alter your ability to be authentic and to speak your mind? Do you really need to be supported all the time? So it impacts us. And I know what it's like, because for years I was telling the story that my dad should support who I date. My parents should support the choices that I'm making. They shouldn't. And by them speaking up and sharing their truth, which is often, most of the time, against mine, that's their form of loving. And it's a great thing that they're there, because it gives you another perspective, and it's wise for us to be able to see the other side. It prevents us from going too far off the deep end. It prevents us from going way too far off the deep end, and it grounds us. We need our family to ground us, because if we go too far and veer too far into an extreme, guess what the family dynamic provides is the exact opposite perspective to keep you grounded where your power is. Being supported all the time is a very dangerous thing, because we get all caught up, and I know what that's like. We get all caught up. I know what it's like to have 500 people applauding and cheering your name and chanting your name. It gets to your head, and you start thinking you're better than other people, and your ego starts to swell, and having people challenge you forces you to get connected with your authentic truth, with your vision, mission, and purpose, which is beyond just support. Gandhi wasn't supported by everybody. Martin Luther King wasn't supported by everyone. Anybody who's made a splash, made a dent, made an impact on the planet has done it through challenge and criticism. So get over your need to be supported all the time. Tell your truth and thank people for giving you the opposing view. We have all these, arguments on social media over politics and religion, as though everybody should agree with our point of view. I sit there watching the whole thing, grabbing my popcorn, and I'm enjoying the show, because we live in a world where we have multiple views of the way things are seen, and we all believe that everybody should see things our way, and we're coming from our perspective. And I believe that the most evolved self comes from the ability to hold opposing viewpoints, and that includes support and challenge, nice and mean, Democrats and Republicans. Even me, I was always veering towards the alternative medicine, and then I've gone back and forth, and so I know that the truth is somewhere in the middle. And so when we can not just take on a midline stance and not take a side, and I'm all about being polarizing. Believe me, I'm all about holding fast to what I believe to be true. But your lack of support is not affecting my ability to be authentic and love myself as much as it used to. I'm working on it. I'm on a path. I'm on a journey, and I find that anybody who's going through, yeah, absolutely. I find that anybody who's going through real challenge and depression and stress and digestive problems and hormonal issues, you take a look and you kind of, this is what I'm really into, kind of getting to know a person, and they're holding on to a story and they're having a belief that I should be supported, and they're the heroes of their victim story. And I've played the victim before, so I know exactly what that's like. But the freedom is in the letting go of the need for support. So hopefully that's, leave a comment. Let me know who has been supporting you, whose love have you been craving the support of, and how has that been impacting you? And please share this with someone. If you are having challenge with it, and you know that you're having family dynamics that are giving you a tough time, send me a private message. Love to reach out to you. Or join my Facebook group, The Art of Powerful Alignment, and let me know. I have this really cool webinar on the 5 critical shifts that you need to transform your transitional anxiety and depression into powerful alignment and being on purpose and making an impact. And this mastermind group of people are really working towards dancing like they don't care who's watching, doing what they love despite a lack of support from other people. I'm on that journey myself, and it's really rewarding and fulfilling helping others do the same. It was an unhealthy attachment. That's one thing. That's one way of looking at it, saying that I just let go of it. Or how about embracing it, saying thank you. You know what? Thanks, Dad, for loving me so much that you are challenging what I'm doing. It's really making me gut check. It's really making me do my due diligence. I'm grateful for my parents for them speaking up and sharing how troubled they were about my decision to sell my chiropractic practice. I wouldn't have it any other way. And gratitude is the next step beyond forgiveness. Forgiveness is bullshit. Often we say, oh, I forgive you, but it's not really about forgiving. It's about really, thank you for giving me that experience. Thank you for coming into a state of gratitude. So hopefully that's been useful to some of you. Please tag somebody that you know who's really going through a tough time, and have them reach out to me as a personal message. And I'd love to chat and see what lack of support is affecting them, and continue the conversation in my Facebook group. And I'd love to be of service to you. So God bless, and see you at the next perfect time.